Alrighty guys, we're back for some mono black Phyrexian aggro, and this is a March of the Machine standard brew. We're gonna go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked, but first things first, for anyone who may not know, I'm Redcat and I play aggro decks and any decks with red in them as well, so I hope that sounds fun to ya. Also, we do got that Discord link down in the description if you're interested in joining that up. Okay, what do we got in the build here? Gotta do some rearranging. This is gonna be a relatively simple one, huh? So, new card, Grafted Butcher. This is a 2 mana 2/2. Other Phyrexians you control get +1/+1. Okay, nice. When Grafted Butcher enters the battlefield, Phyrexians you control gain Menace until end of turn. Okay, that can help you wrap up a game, right? And then there's another ability on here for some reason. For 3 and a black, you can sacrifice an artifact or creature. Return Grafted Butcher from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. Looks pretty good, man. Looks pretty powerful, but we'll see, huh? What other new cards do we got? Well, Ichor Drinker. This is a 1 mana, 1/1 lifelink. Phyrexian Vampire. That's pretty much it, but it does have another ability. You can pay a black mana, exile Ichor Drinker from your graveyard, incubate 2. Activate only as a sorcery. And when you incubate, you get a little incubator token, and it gets that many +1/+1 counters. So this one would get 2 +1/+1 counters, right? And then for 2 mana, you can transform the artifact, and it transforms, of course, into a 0/0 Phyrexian artifact creature, which is pretty cool. And then, of course, it would keep those +1/+1 counters. Yeah, not half bad, huh? More new cards, Bloated Processor. This is a 3 mana 3/2. Sacrifice another Phyrexian, put a +1/+1 counter on Bloated Processor. When Bloated Processor dies, incubate X, where X is its power. So even if you're not doing any sacrificing, whenever this dies, you incubate for 3. Not half bad, guys. For 2 mana, then you'd have another 3/3 Phyrexian to hopefully help you wrap up the game. Just trying out 2 of them in here because there's not like a big sacrifice theme. Generally speaking, if the opponent was going to spot remove another Phyrexian on the board, you would just want to sacrifice it to the Bloated Processor instead, right? So, what else? Okay, yeah, Pile-On's a new card. This is a 4 mana instant speed with Convoke, and then destroy target creature or planeswalker and surveil 2. Not bad, guys, not bad. Honestly, maybe we want 3 of these instead, but we'll see, because I don't know how often we're actually going to be able to use our creatures to convoke this, and how often we're just going to be paying 4 mana for instant speed spot removal. So, really depends. Oh, by the way, yeah, Convoke is kind of sort of new, I guess. If you haven't heard of Convoke, your creatures can help you cast this, and each creature you tap while casting it pays for a mana or 1 mana of that creature's color. Okay, I think that's everything new, honestly. There's not too much new in here, huh? Yeah, let's go over the rest of the build. We got more spot removal with 3 cut downs, of course, a couple go for the throat, and a single Sheoldred's Edict. Nice, nice. Way more removal than I usually play with, so I'm already feeling more confident, right? We have Evolved Sleeper, which is technically a human, but on that second ability, Evolved Sleeper is a cleric. That I'm wrong. On the bottom ability, Evolved Sleeper becomes a Phyrexian, which could be pretty cool. It's also just like a very powerful 1-drop, and honestly, even though it doesn't become a Phyrexian until the very bottom ability, I don't think that matters. It's just very powerful in general, very aggressive in general anyways, so yeah. Definitely going to be worth having in here, right? Got a couple of Vraans, Executioner Thanes. This is a 2 mana 2/2 that we don't see too often. It is a legendary creature, and whenever 1 or more other creatures you control die, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. This ability triggers only once each turn, so you swing in, your opponents block some of your creatures die, your opponent loses 2 life, and you gain 2 life, and then on their turn, you spot remove one of their creatures, opponent loses 2 life, you gain 2 life, right? This card can be very aggressive and doing like 4 damage per turn cycle, right? So yeah, not bad at all, huh? Of course, a couple Phyrexian Fleshgorgers, which is a 7 mana, 7/5 mana lifelink, but of course it has the prototype for only 3 mana, and that's what you're going to be playing it out as more often than not. Of course, it's going to be very aggressive. I mean, something so simple, man. As a turn 2 Grafted Butcher and a turn 3 Fleshgorger is very scary. At that point, Butcher already has a huge target on his back, but then it has that bottom ability where you can eventually bring it back anyways, which is just insane to me, dude. So Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how powerful the deck actually is, though. Got a couple Gix Yawgmoth Praetors here. Another one we don't get to see too often, really. So it's a 3-mana 3/3. And whenever a creature deals combat damage to one of your opponents, its controller may pay 1 life. If they do, they draw a card. And we're not going to look at the bottom ability right now unless it comes up in a game. Then we'll talk about it, right? It's probably not going to come up, so... Gix is going to be a great way to keep our hand nice and stocked and just a pretty powerful Phyrexian. Generally speaking, Mono Black has so many terrific 3-drops already. That's probably why we don't see Gix too much, right? I'm looking at Graveyard Trespasser, for example. Okay, 4 drops. We got 3 Sheoldred, of course, and a couple of Phyrexian Obliterators. Heck yeah. If it were up to me, I'd play all 4 Phyrexian Obliterators. Well, it technically is up to me, huh? Why am I not playing all 4? I want to call it an aggro deck, and having 7 4-drops is already excessive. If I had the 4 Obliterators, right? We don't want to really consider pile on a 4-mana card. You're probably going to be playing it as a 3-mana or a 2-mana more often than not. That's what I'm thinking, at least. All right, top end, guys. We got a couple Invoke Despairs. Generally speaking, in an aggro deck, you don't want too many 5-mana cards, but I mean, it's Invoke Despair. We have to squeeze a couple of them in here. Any game that goes longer than you'd like, Invoke Despair is going to be terrific in, you know? 25 land over here, 24 of them being swamp, and a single Abandoned Mire as well. Honorable mentions, guys, Mirex. Yeah, I almost made the cut, but I'd rather just, like, make sure that no matter what, I do have a turn 4 Obliterator, which seems a little silly when we only have 2 of them. Mirex could be a good addition, and it does create Phyrexian Mites, which could be very important for going wide with the Butcher too. But there's already so much in here that you're spending extra mana on anyways. Are you really going to have 3 open and able to tap Mirex when you're like keeping open spot removal, for example, or spending extra mana to get your Incubator back or your Butcher back or anything like that, right? So really depends. There probably could be other honorable mentions too, other Phyrexians that we potentially could have included, but I didn't include them in the honorable mentions today. So let me know in the comments if I left out your favorite Phyrexian, right? Overall, I think it's going to be a relatively simple deck, and I think it's going to be decent overall. We'll see, huh? Let's go ahead, take it into some ranked, and see how we do. All right, right into that first match. 1 second, guys. 1 second. That's how you know it's going to be a good game. All right. Yee. Oh, opponent goes first. We have 8 1-drops in here and 3 cut downs on top of that. This is a slow hand overall, man. We don't even have the 3rd guaranteed mana for the processor. I think this is actually a mulligan. Okay, all right, this is better. This is much faster, and we can send a swamp then. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it wasn't like a terrible first hand. It was just so slow, and since the opponent went first, like, they could have been mono red. We would have just been completely run over, because even our spot removal was relatively slow. Okay, well, we got to be prepared for a make disappear, so we probably... Ooh, good draw. Probably just do the Sleeper's ability here. Well, it could be spot removal too. If they end up spot removing the Sleeper, then we'll just play the Grafted Butcher. All right, yeah, we'll just we'll play around it for now. This is a great example as to why Cut Down is so powerful, right? And Cut Down works so well with the Sleeper, you know? They waited till we spent some mana on it. Yep, makes sense to me. Go ahead and just keep our swamp open, and I think we played around the make disappear there regardless. I think so, right? Even though Grafted Butcher isn't a terrible one to have countered, because we can eventually potentially bring it back, right? So yeah, all the mana open, I suppose. Now we're kind of a turn behind here because of last turn's play, so that's definitely something to think about. I suppose I'm going to try the Gix and see if the Make Disappear hits it. Like I said, though, Grafted Butcher would be a much better one for them to drop the Make Disappear on. Could just be another Abrade, too, or any other spot removal. Go for the throw. Okie dokies. Going to be an uphill battle, guys. This is a great example of a match where, like, our Invoke Despairs are going to be important, where we're trying to be aggressive, but it's not always going to work out. And so Invoke Despair just helps keep us in the game, helps us draw more of our aggressive creatures. Probably just going to keep the 2 mana open, man. Yeah, that's brutal. Obliterator's great. Sheoldred or Obliterator. Or Grafted Butcher and keep the Edict open. I think it's going to be the Obliterator. See what happens here. Is it going to be the Make Disappear now? Wow, the opponent's starting hand is brutal so far, man. Okay. Well, their Sheoldred could drop this turn. If it's a Sheoldred, man, woohoo! The Grixis is stacked. Now gonna keep it open. Okay, Pylon. All right. While we're slowly running out of creatures to play, I suppose the Sheoldred, it's time to try it, right? Maybe it should have been Grafted Butcher a while ago. I don't know. I don't know. We're trying to keep up pace with like this massive amount of removal encounters, but usually Grixis is just Rakdos with a splash of blue for the Make Disappear, and sometimes they do play the Corpse Appraiser as well. Oh, Xander's Lounge. Okay, the opponent finally ran out of some spot removal here. Well, unless, of course, I suppose they could spot remove it now before they draw. Okay, good news, guys. Sheoldred's on the board. Oh my goodness. Big Buster, okay. Yeah, so they can start to restock their hand quite nicely here. Okay, pylon number 2. We have Sheoldred's Edict open, but I'd rather them just chump block here, honestly. Or take the 5, of course, right? Let's see what happens. Okay, so let's go ahead and make sure the Harvester can't take out the Butcher then. I think that's fine. Sacrifices non-token creature. Yeah, we don't want Blood Tithe Harvester to be able to just... wow, the last card in their hand was a negate. Alright, well, they have the ability to take out the Butcher here. Still have a couple pylons and the mana to actually use it without tapping. Yay, Corpse Appraiser, nice. Okay, take out the Butcher. Wow, nice, opponent. Great top deck, and they still have the ability to draw off of the Bank Buster here, too. Keeping their head nice and stocked. Okay, Swamp. Now if we see any of our Invoke Despairs, it could be pretty decent. The problem with Pylon here, of course, is they just power up Bank Buster. I do like the Surveil, though, acting as like a scry for this build. Alright, we'll give it a shot here. If they end up blocking and they drew like an Abrade, then Sheoldred is just gonna die. But I feel like... Alright, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. I don't think we just keep this back in a deck that has so much. So they're gonna chump here. Hopefully they didn't draw the Abrade. Have Pylon open. This is a good example as to why we just have the 2 pylons instead of 3, actually. Okay, opponent down to 9. Opponent down to 7. Sheoldred holding this game up for us, huh? 3 cards in hand, though, now. Invoke Despair. Alright. I'm just gonna keep the pylons. There's not a lot to hit here anyways. If we had another creature, dude, that Invoke Despair would have been deadly for them. Fleshgorger, not a bad draw at all. Of course, now we don't have the pylon open, unfortunately, but it's something. It's something, at least. And yeah, at any point, if we draw our Invoke Despair, only 2 of them in here, though. Tough first game, guys. Very tough first game. Grixis is usually an uphill battle regardless, though, no matter what you're playing. Okay, 3 mana open, second Corpse Appraiser. Well, they have the ability to double block the Fleshgorger now, so we probably just pile on our turn. Try to put whatever we need on the top to end this game. Another mana. Ew. Ew. I guess they power up Bankbuster then, huh? Yeah. Yeah, they want to make sure they can still double block the Fleshgorger. Alright. We still do this, though. For the sake of the Surveil, we'll have 2 mana open, and there are some cards in here. Yep, threw it on up. Make sure you can double block. Yeah, like, for some reason, I can't hover over it. The Ichor Drinker. Yeah, we'll send that to the grave. Second Sheoldred's great, but they drew so many cards, guys. They drew so many. I don't think the Sheoldred's going to survive. At this point, I think our best bet is to just find the Invoke Despair, which is a little bit of a shame. I don't know. I don't mind Sheoldred is the problem. Like, it's really good if it can stick out there. I just don't think it's going to stick. I really don't. Yeah, okay, yeah, we'll send it. Because it's not looking great for us regardless, because we can't even swing with Fleshgorger this turn, so. Should I have done this next turn, actually? No. Because we have the open mana open now. So getting an artifact on the board is fine. Alright, we'll see what the opponent pulls off here. I still think we tried the pylon, because there's a possibility that they didn't power up Bankbuster, but also, like, there's no reason not to. Okay, they got the double creatures again. Fleshgorger having a rough time getting through. Sleeper, okay. Okay. Evolved Sleeper's pretty good, I guess, right? See, if we would have drawn the Sheoldred, though, that would have been pretty good, too. I think we get the draw off a Sleeper. How do you guys feel about that? We have the mana for it, right? No, we don't, actually. We don't have the mana. Well, we'll see what happens here. Sheoldred's Edict. They want the Fleshgorger gone. If we go pile on, we can tap the Fleshgorger down. Have what, 2 open then? Take care of Corpse Appraiser. They power up Bankbuster to make sure. Harvester's terrible removal, though. Alright, we'll take care of Harvester. Tap, and then have 2 mana open. Only 1 for the Sleeper. But if we're gonna plan on playing the pylon anyways, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think this might, like, we got them low. And I don't want to concede because there's always that possibility of seeing the Invoke Despair, but we also know that the opponents are running Negate too. Okay, we don't need another Sleeper, we don't need a Drinker, we really just need to see Invoke Despair here, huh? I think so. I think so. That's a tough decision though. Because Evolved Sleeper could be excellent still. Alright, I guess we can draw it. Ah, crap, dude, I don't know. No, we'll send it. Same concept as sending the Sheoldred, I guess. Oh, we could have powered this up too. But, oh, it's a token, that's why. Sheoldred's Edict gets around it. Well, we're gonna power that up, I guess. I mean, using the 2 extra mana, we also had Sleeper for 1 mana and the other Drinker for 1 mana too, and then we could have kept the Incubator token. Wow, yeah, a lot of options for us, honestly. I don't think there's a way through. Maybe I'm missing something though. Invoke Despair off the top would be devastating for the opponent, because we'd restock our hand a little bit, and they would take 4 damage. because they don't have an enchantment on the board. Oh no! Is that their 4th Corpse Appraiser? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's all 4 Corpse Appraisers, guys. So because I ended up powering up the Incubator last turn, we lost the Drinker to their 4th Corpse Appraiser. Dude, that's brutal, man. Woohoo! Let's go! Invoke Despair. How are we gonna get that last little bit of damage through, though? Well, maybe we'll draw it, huh? Maybe this will be a Spell Pierce. Oh, or another negate. Make disappear. Oh no, guys. We're gonna drop them the GGs. Wait, we could draw the second one though. Oh no. Oh no. Guys, I keep bringing it up. I know I like to stick around until the very last minute, but always feel free to fast forward to the next game. I always have chapters down in the description at the bottom of the video. You can also see the chapters there too. Ooh, just plain old Sheoldred, huh? All right, so it's not your basic Grixis deck. They do have a new card in here. So I mean, I guess that's nice. Look, there's a possibility that we end up seeing our second Invoke Despair as Let's go. I mean, it's still gotta be the opponents, right? It's still gotta be. Yep, draw on Bankbuster, see if you find the counter spell. I mean, so far, ooh, if this was spot removal that could take care of the Sheoldred, we would have won, guys. Oh no, they had Bankbuster to still power up. Oh, okay, never mind. Also 2 mana as well. Dude, I mean, that's a good case scenario of why conceding isn't worth it sometimes. There is a small possibility. It depends on how crunched on time you are too, though. You know, if you don't have much time to play, then this would have been a match to concede a long time ago. Sure, power up Sheoldred. I mean, why not at this point? I don't even know what the backside does. Okay, yep, so we lose our creature. If we, let's see, what else is there? Because both of our Invoke Despairs are gone. Cut down doesn't hit the Corpse Appraiser. I don't know what we could draw. And if this was spot removal, they would have had Bankbuster. So I don't know what we could have seen to get the 2 damage through, but I'm assuming somewhere along the way here, we missed an opportunity for a couple damage, right? And then they'll get all creatures onto the board. That's pretty fun, guys. We're gonna let them play this out, actually. That's pretty fun. I bet they don't get to actually use this Sheoldred very often, because I'm assuming opponents just leave, like, way before. So let's let them get this True Scriptures going. Oh no, the Sheoldred! The Sheoldred the Apocalypse ruined the actual Apocalypse. I can't believe they've done this, guys. I really wanted to see the bottom ability here, where they put all creature cards from all graveyards onto the battlefield. It's really cool, man. Oh well, we stuck it out, huh? It's like I said, guys, always feel free to fast forward to the next games if you've if you're done with that match. I can't believe we actually saw 2 Invoke Despairs in a row. That's really funny, dude. And that would have been a good case where if we had all 4 Invoke Despairs, like Mono Black mid-range runs all 4 Invokes, right? Then just like maybe we would have seen it earlier, played it out, drew the second one, and maybe just ended the game a little sooner. Wow, another really slow hand, guys. We go first this time, though. I'm going to say we keep it. Just give it a shot, you know what I mean? I think overall, we did pretty good last time, too. I mean, like, given what we were going up against. Okay, good. They didn't flip the Delver first turn. That's good news. Keeps open counterspell, and I guess we go... I actually like the Gix more against Mono Blue than the Fleshgorger. Getting a little extra draw power. So I guess Fleshgorger getting countered is fine here. We really don't want to lose the Sheoldred to mono blue though, so maybe they'll end up tapping out next turn. I really doubt that though. We'll see, man. We'll see. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Delver Flip's gonna start doing big damage. Fading Hope, yep. So even if they don't have the counterspell, they can still just send the Sheoldred back to hand and counter it next turn too. We could attempt the Pylon. Do it on our turn so they don't get an extra draw. There's a chance that they don't have a counterspell, and playing out one of our creatures just to get countered, it just doesn't seem like the right play to me. It really doesn't. March of the Swirling Mist. Okay, that's a way to do it. It definitely sucks that we don't get the Surveil 2 there. Okay, we have 2 open for a Make Disappear, but it's like I said, they have the Fading Hope open too. Maybe we just try Pylon number 2. Pylon needs to be around for when they play their bigger stuff though too, right? Alright, it's going to be Gix, and maybe if it lands, we play Sheoldred, get a swing next turn, and get a draw off of Gix, and a little bit of life gain too then. Nope, they're going to go right for the Fading Hope this turn. Okay. Yeah, that little bit of tempo push that Fading Hope gives might be enough to get them there. Because we're already at 10. We have 5 mana open, guys. This is some scary business. Okay, Pylon will be open if the Gix lands on the board. Nice. Okay, yeah, Pylon. Looking like what we do here. Also, Abandoned Mire is open too because Gix is a legendary creature, which is pretty cool. Okay, Flow of Knowledge. Here we go. Take care of this. Wait. Yeah, we take care of this. They're tapped out. Look, I know there's a chance that they're going to draw. Obliterator's not that great against this deck, is it? Doesn't block well. I mean, it does everything else well, though. What are we looking for, though, if I send the Obliterator? I guess nothing, because the whole point here is to just try to land big creatures now, right? Because Flow of Knowledge is probably going to draw them into the Djinn. If we saved the Pylon for the Djinn, then there was no guarantees of it hitting, because this was one of the rare occasions where Mono Blue was tapped out. You know what I mean? So if we saved Pylon and tried it right then and there for the Djinn, I mean, now their hand is stacked, they got the double blue. Gix doesn't get through. We had that card that gave our Phyrexians Menace, maybe. It's gonna have to be Sheoldred and hope that it lands first of all. And then hope that we gain enough life from Sheoldred over time. Yeah, Scatter Ray. Woo! Brutal first matches, guys, but it is what it is, man. You gotta start somewhere. I do think this deck is more than capable of getting through on versus both of these builds. Actually, I don't really know who's favored, mono black versus mono blue. I don't know, because we even went first here, didn't we? So having a faster hand maybe would have been better. We did keep a pretty slow hand. Okay. So, Abandoned Mire. Bring Sheoldred back. No, we're not gaining enough anyways. The Djinn probably just wraps this up regardless. We probably want to draw. I should have waited. We probably wanted to attempt the swing on Gix and take in 1 damage, since we're going to die next turn anyways from the Djinn. Dude. The opponent not letting us get anything through. Super brutal match versus mono blue. At this point then, I guess we'll just play the Obliterator, right? Now the Abandoned Mire costs 1 extra too. Yeah, I think whatever we end up playing isn't going to land on the board anyways, and even if it does, they have the air power to get them the victory next turn. Rough, man, rough. We might as well play that as a land too. Second Flow of Knowledge. Wow, dude. Super scary business. I don't see any new cards in this one, but I don't know if there were any new cards that Mono Blue necessarily wanted. At least this version of Mono Blue, right? And a Thirst for Discovery, wow. You guys will have to let me know, did Mono Blue get any new tricks from the new set? Or is it just looking like the new set maybe could have spawned a different version of Mono Blue? That's probably the case, right? Another Thirst for Discovery. Opponent, I'm letting you swing in. Please, please swing. Oh, guys, I got the new emotes. I spent gold on the new emotes, and this one in particular is so obnoxious, but we'll have to wait for a victory. I couldn't resist, though. The Chandra one is awesome. But yeah, it doesn't make much sense to drop it on a brutal loss, you know what I mean? Man, we're already 30 minutes in. Oh, come on. This deck can totally do more than what it's doing right now. We can do this, guys. Let's see if we can get like 2 more games in here. Right up against Grixis, right up against Mono Blue. I can only imagine this is going to be a third super brutal meta build. So what's it going to be, guys? Maybe the normal version of Mono Black? Oh, cool card sleeves, opponent. I haven't seen those ones. Very cool. Alright, the opponent had to mulligan. Oh, hopefully initiate. Wow. I mean, we'll probably just cut that down, right? So, do we do it now before they have protection open? If they have protection for the initiate, I guess that's better than protection on something bigger, right? Alright. We'll see. Nope, initiate is out of here. Nice. See what they play here. Initiate number 2. Okay. And we'll get the Vraan down instead of the go for the throat for initiate. Possibly Selesnya counters, guys. Which I have not gone up against yet, so ooh, yeah. Selesnya counters. Sounds cool. Pile on is open, but I'd rather probably just play the Gix this turn, right? They might double block the Vraan and then just get blown out by spot removal. Guess we could try it, and again, they could still have like a protection open here. All right, we'll go for the maybe Sheoldred's Edict then, so their protection can't do it. Sacrifices a non-token creature. Always make sure to read that. Multiple opponents have chosen the wrong one against us, so yeah, there we go. There we go. Didn't lose the Vraan. Oh, that's right. It has to be our creatures for Vraan, too. I don't know entirely what I was thinking there. Pile on's great. This might still be a block. So I think I'm just going to play the Gix this time around. And it has to be other creatures, too. So it's a great trade for the opponent. Well, yeah, we're going to wait. Like, we have removal in hand. We don't need to take on trades and stuff. Ooh, Grafted Butcher is brutal. Ho, 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 buddy. The menace and everything here. Now we're talking, guys. Now we're talking. Wonder what that last card in their hand is. All right, swing for 7. It's Menace. Wandering Emperor. Oh my goodness. I mean, that's the last card you want to have in hand, so you know what I mean? That's the last card you want to have. We should just take care of it right now. They still get to use it as flash though, right? On the stack? Yeah. Take out the Gix. We take care of it now so they don't get a benefit next turn. We do have the 5 mana here. Grafted Butcher number 2 is great as well. I think we just keep both of these on top, guys. That's pretty good. Yeah, no draw off the Gix because they ended up exiling it. So yeah, cool. Yeah, we take it out right then and there or at the end of our turn. Either way, we don't want them to get any benefits from the Wandering Emperor. card up the Foundry. I was thinking there, like go for the throat, hitting the Beast Caller, but yeah, it looks like they ended up sacrificing the Beast Caller anyways. So, all right, we play the mana, we swing for 5, down to 10. Okay, now we're talking, guys. This board will get Menace from the Butcher, and we still have spot removal open for the go for the throat too. So, and they're going for the swing. Last card in hand could be a creature to help them block, which of course the Menace helps us get around, so. And of course the go for the throat too would have helped us get around that as well. But we're just gonna keep the go for the throat open on their turn, or for their turn, I should say. Because whatever they draw, if they end up like targeting the Duelist to draw a card or something, we go for the throat the Duelist then. Yeah, GG opponent, that's what I'm talking about, guys. That's what the deck should have been doing. Those first 2 matches, of course, we were up against decks that don't like it when you play your deck. So, so you know, we had a lot of trouble actually pulling anything off. And then overall, those first 2 games, we had pretty slow hands and pretty slow draws overall too, didn't we? Like we really just struggled getting multiple things onto the board in those first 2 games. Oh my. Opponent goes first. All right, last game of the evening. We already mulliganed once today. Let's just keep it. Let's just see what happens, man. So could we drop a mana? Sure. But there's no guarantees that you're going to see the 4th mana then at 24. There's been many a games where we get stuck on, like, I mean, even our 2nd mana. But yeah, there's been many games where you get stuck on your 3rd mana with 24 and you can never play your 4 drops. Right now we have 25 because we have so many 4 drops in here. Yeah, that's not good. That got around the cut down. That's not good at all, guys. Probably have to chump block here. And the Vraan helps us too, I guess, a little bit. There's going to be Vraan chump block with the Drinker, if they don't spot remove it. Like, we had another line of play where we could cut down the Kamano. Oh! Kamano exiles. Crap. Yeah, the other line of play is Drinker and cut down Kamano. Play with fire for Vraan. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, guys. Oh jeez. Oh no. Dude, we are in some serious trouble. We're chumping just for the sake of chumping. We get a little bit of life gain there, but yeah, it exiles, so. More mana. Drinker and cut down for Kamano. Chump the Feldon, which is so bad. Oh, buddy, we're in trouble. Squee. Yep. We'll chump this, like... Holy cow, dude. Alright, we should take care of Squee because it goes too wide. We'll still chump the Feldon, I guess. They get to play it until the end of their next turn, though, guys. Take 4, gain 1. Processor just not doing a lot here. Dude. Today was filled with uphill battles. What did they get? Crucible? Oh, not bad for them at all. Drinker, number 3. Just not great when Etching's exiling everything anyways, and also we're just struggling to keep up pace regardless. Because the, you know, the opponent went first here, so... Play with fire the Processor. I mean, I guess we try to buff it above, and the Drinker gets exiled. Oh, no, it doesn't. Wait. Oh, creature dealt damage this turn. I'm sorry, guys. You'd think I would know what Etching does. That would have been if, like, their play with fire would have taken out the Drinker, not if we sacrifice. Uh-huh. And we'll trade with the Boundary. Take 7. trade with Feldon, they see 4 cards off the top, so I don't think that's the play. And the Phoenix Chicks are going to be a problem regardless. Oh, and then the Exile so we don't get the Incubate too. Yeah, dude, this was brutal, man. Gix was a good draw, but we can't even power up the Incubate here either, so good game, opponent. Oh, buddy, we got run over today. Another Squee too? Wow, another Squee. Yeah, because they didn't have enough in the grave to actually bring back the other one to begin with. Hey, good game, opponent. Okay, 40 minutes in. Look, sometimes it happens, but we really have to consider, did I have fun that game? Yeah, you know what? I mean, I laughed. That's important. That's important, right? Jeez. That's funny, man. Yeah, Mono Red going first there, that was just way too fast to keep up pace. I apologize we didn't get better games in today, guys. That was relatively brutal overall. You look at the list and you're like, yeah, this should work relatively okay, but some notable things, I do think the Pylon was excellent. I think, like, in that last game, it's too bad the opponent did go too fast because we were finally starting to see more of our 1-drops. On top of that, dude, the Exile on the Cabana was so brutal. Just getting rid of some of our most important things that like to be in the graveyard. Didn't see Grafted Butcher, but when we did see the Grafted Butcher against that Selesnya build, dude, this card's powerful. Holy cow. So what could we do to actually just make the deck better? I have no idea. More testing's required because I don't even think those were great games to showcase the deck necessarily. The only one that I think actually showcased the deck was the one that we ended up winning, right? The other ones were just brutal meta matches where the opponent had everything that they needed. So I don't know, man. Let me know in the comments. Maybe I just didn't put the list together well enough. Maybe there's definitely a more optimized way to put it together. The question is, what is the optimized way? A Bloated Processor probably is all right. I think in that last game, we really saw the problem with Bloated Processor, and it's like the 2 toughness is really low. The fact that the opponent can just immediately remove it with any of their 1 mana removals, right? Like 3/2, of course, gets picked up by Cut Down as well as Play with Fire too. And if it's a Play with Fire when they have Etching on the board, then it exiles, so you don't end up getting the Incubator. And if it was like a Cut Down and you're up against Mono Black, then a Graveyard Trespasser picks it up. Oh, whoa, I'm getting ahead of myself here. That's not the card I wanted to talk about with Graveyard Trespasser. Grafted Butcher, of course, is one that gets picked out of the grave with the Graveyard Trespasser, as well as the Ichor Drinker too. I was thinking about all the graveyard hate right now in Standard and getting ahead of myself with Processor. But yeah, when Bloated Processor dies, you incubate the X. And so anything that ends up exiling it, like anything in mono white mid-range, so that's a problem too, right? The meta's brutal, dude. And the current version of just mono black and just having like mono black mid-range instead of trying to go aggro is probably the best way to do it, right? Then you get to play with cards like Bank Buster and everything else like that. And, you know, mono black's been solved for so long. Is there anything in that version of mono black that we could add from this deck? No, not really, because even Pile On, you know, you like to have at least a couple creatures on the board, and sometimes mono black mid-range just doesn't. I guess there's a case where sometimes mono black mid-range's last creature is like Sheoldred, and the opponent's having a hard time removing it anyways, so maybe Pile On could be 3 mana. And the Surveil on this is really nice too, so. Actually, the Surveil on this is terrific, man. Just, like, even if you don't want to put cards into the grave, you just kind of treat the Surveil as a scry ability and try to find the stuff that you want to find on top. On that case, maybe we could actually go up a Pile On, but I don't think so. We really struggled keeping creatures on the board. But again, maybe that was just those matches. Man, I want to play another set of matches to see if we could just do better overall. Vraan only like only works well when your creatures die, and in one of those matches my brain was telling me it works when any creature dies. I don't know why. I know what Vraan does. It's just like one of those instances. You know, I play so many different decks, not an excuse, but there's just something about Vraan. Sometimes I forget it's only your creatures, and so that's fine too. I do think that your creatures are going to die very often, and unfortunately then we have to talk about those exile abilities once again. So yeah, any deck with exiling is going to be brutal. And we saw, obviously, man, yeah, against that counterspell, the first counterspell deck we went up against, we should have just played the Butcher out instead. Let that get countered early. But then again, they had a bunch of spot removal too, so... And it wasn't a counterspell deck, they just had like the Make Disappears and the Negates in there. I don't know, man. I could probably talk about this deck for like another 5 minutes, just trying to figure out what on earth happened today, right? I think like Phyrexian Obliterator is still worthwhile because you are up against mono red relatively often, and if we would have seen Obliterator in that last mono red match, it still probably would have come out too late anyways, and they would have still been able to close up the game with the Phoenix Chicks in the air. So we would have needed to find removal for those two, so we were just like in trouble on so many levels in that last game. That being said, is Sheoldred the better choice? I mean, yeah, for most decks for sure, but we already have 3 Sheoldreds anyways. Yeah, we don't want to talk about a 4th one when it is, in fact, legendary, right? We could talk about the last 2 Invoke Despairs, or at least 3. It is powerful enough. As a top end for aggro, it still works, man. So I could see dropping an Obliterator for a 3rd Invoke Despair. There weren't too many cases where we didn't have the mana to actually play out the Invoke Despair anyways. Speaking of the mana, if you don't go up the Invoke Despair, you could probably drop a mana too. I'm actually surprised that 25 felt like too much. Generally speaking, when you're playing mono black, even aggro, well, maybe not. Yeah, we have so many things to spend the mana on. Guys, I'm just confused. I'm confused. Let me know what you would add or take out. What could we do to make this more aggressive as well? Let me know if those matches were as brutal as I'm thinking, or if our deck just isn't up to the standard meta, right? So if you made it this far into the video, for real, y'all are champions. Holy cow, thank you for being here. I super duper appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video.